All right, look, this is an emergency video. This is an emergency video when it comes to crypto, when it comes to Bitcoin, because something's going on right now. It's gonna make or break this cycle. Now, I don't want people to panic, but I do want people to take caution and watch certain levels and show you my strategy and what I'm doing, because this is important. This is extremely important. Probably the most important video you will watch on my channel in 2025. So let's talk about this. And just for context, I am gonna tell you my thesis. I'm not gonna get into charts or data or anything like that because I want this video to come out fast. I'm not gonna edit this video or try not to edit this video. I am gonna show you some charts, but I'm not gonna go too deep because you're gonna need these charts for context, okay? For context. So let's get started here. Listen. Bitcoin was at $126,000, okay? And we had that massive flush, that massive drop the other day, all the way down to 101K, liquidating a lot of people. A lot of people got wrecked. Anybody on margin, even a 2-3x got wrecked, okay? Now, this can be seen as a reset, but it could also be seen as an event that's the start of a bear market. Now, I'm not saying it's a bear market yet. Pay attention. This is very important. Again, you need to have context. Now, I've been saying that I'm expecting a top at the end of 2025, beginning 2026, Bitcoin topping first, then altcoins a little bit later. Why am I saying this? Because there is a possibility that we get a selective alt season before all this. Now I know it sounds crazy, and again, you're gonna just have to watch for context here, okay? If you think I'm crazy and you don't want to watch the rest of this video, go ahead, just click off. Seriously, no problem whatsoever. I'm just making this video so I can tell you what I am personally doing. I think I found the best strategy here. And this is what I want to share with you, because no one knows if we're going to go up or down here. But I do believe I know the best strategy moving forward from here, okay? So let's just go to the charts just 1 second for context, okay? It's easier for me to also talk about this. Okay, so we're seeing Bitcoin here on the factor line. As you can see, the factor line told you to sell right about here, and we actually went down. We had this massive dump all the way to 101,900, okay? Now, we did bounce up, and we did start coming up over here, but the factor line on the 4-hour remains red. The problem is that we need to hold this level. We need to hold 111 to 112K. Some can argue at 110K psychological, which is right here. That makes sense. So let's do that. So 110K psychological, even though I'm eyeing 112,000, I do believe 110 will break if we break 112, just like last time. But let's just look at that. Because the problem is, if we break under there, 107,000, which is the next support, I'm not too sure it's going to hold. Because the more a level gets hit, the weaker it gets. And that massive flush down, that's not going to work in our favor right now. So we could end up in the low hundreds or even lower than that. Now pay attention, because again, there's a bullish case for here. And you kind of need to look at all directions so you can understand the best play, okay? So let's go back to the charts. So we're looking at Bitcoin here on the 4-hour. Now keep in mind, on the hourly, it should also be bearish. I did see this the other day. There you go. I saw this a couple of hours ago. It's bearish right at the top of this range. So now we have a range on the hourly called by the factor line. And you can see the range is 110,900. Actually, no, that's 111,000. Okay, so you can see the factor line confirms my range over here. Told you to buy here, telling you to sell here. This is like swing trading positions in the hourly, okay? Or sorry, day trading position. If we break under this range and make it resistance, which is 110 psychological, we're probably going to come down and meet these lows, and I don't think they're going to hold. Maybe they do, maybe they don't, but I don't want to take that sort of, what can I say, that sort of responsibility, that risk. Now you can see I drew some trend lines over here, or should I say some support lines over here, and this drop coincided with this one. So we're in this range from 99,000 to 102,000 if we get the drop. Now, I'm not saying we're going to definitely go down here. I'm just saying that if we look at altcoins, they're pretty much taking a beating today. Okay? Even Zcash, even Aster, I actually got out of half of my Aster position yesterday and all of my Zcash as well when I saw this weakness. Now, am I saying they're not going to go back up? No, I'm not saying that. Let me explain to you what I'm doing so you can understand my thesis here and my strategy, and then we'll continue onto what I believe is going to happen and how this strategy pretty much puts you in the best place possible right now. So I'm not going to tell you to sell. I'm not going to tell you to do anything like that. What I'm going to tell you to do is protect yourself. What do I mean by protecting yourself? I want you to have dry powder right now. I want you to have dry powder so you can play this. You can make this play no matter which direction it goes. I understand you might not be in profits. I understand you may have lost some money right now, but the best play right now is to protect yourself, right? Protecting yourself is never wrong. So for example, I was highly into Astercoin. I'm convicted in Astercoin. I had a massive position. I slashed it in half so I can get to sleep at night because it was bugging me. And actually, good thing I did, okay? So I slashed that in half, and I also got out of some of my weak altcoins. Not all my altcoins, some weak altcoins, and got them into Bitcoin. This morning, when I saw us breaking down, like, okay, and I took more profit. Sorry, I converted more to protect myself in USDT. I still have my hodl bags, I still have position in altcoins, but I made sure I was liquid. Why? Because there's two scenarios, or three scenarios here, and being a little bit liquid puts us in a great position. Number one, let's say we go down to the low hundreds. Break or not, we go down to the long hundreds, you want to have powder to possibly buy. Now you could also take profits into Bitcoin, that's fine, but you want to have powder to possibly buy if we get a bounce, a convincing bounce, because even if we go into a bear market, even if this is the end, and I did say that the Bitcoin top's going to come towards the end of 2025, but even if we go into a bear market, it's probably going to be a dead cat bounce first. So we're probably going to go down, bounce, and then come back down and go down lower. And that might be what's happening right now, by the way, as well. We have to wait and see. But if we have a dead cat bounce, there's still a chance to buy, take profits, and so on. That's why prices go up and down, and they don't shoot straight up or straight down, if that makes sense. Plus, if we actually go into a bear market, we now have dry powder to be able to play the bear market, to wait and buy at the lows. And when I say lows, I mean you have to wait and be patient and buy when you're coming out of a bear market. But having a position to be able to do that will take stress away. Plus, if you need the money, that's a different story, by the way. If you are too much in crypto right now and you need that money, that's another case to take profits. I'm just talking about the play here. So you have that. Now, let's say we move up from here, because there's a chance we move up here, we actually bounce. This is the level that should be now or never bounce, right? Or close to it. Well, if we go up here, it's simple. You have the powder, you can get into lagging plays. You can even take leverage positions on the way up and then wait to see if it's a dead cat bounce or not. We need to break above $117,000 and actually make that support. That gives us a chance to go to $126,000. That's the scenario I'm looking at, by the way. If we go down, even if we go down here, I do think we're going to go up and break $117,000. What I don't know is if we're going to break $126,000. And that's the key here. Because if we break $117,000 and we start going up, confidence comes back, everyone starts shouting alt season. Alt season starts coming up, right? And when I talk about alt season, I'm talking about selective alt season. We'll talk about that in just one second. That might happen. Bitcoin can actually start going up. Altcoins can start going up. People are in conviction. And guess what? Bitcoin rejects at 126,000, it doesn't break it, everything goes down to shit. Now, if Bitcoin breaks 126,000 and this time makes it support, then yes, you can look at it longer. You have more time to be in this play. Now, I know this is all sounding a little bit weird, so let me just put it down to you step by step, what I'm doing and why. And I'll answer some questions here in a second. I know I'm not live, I get that. But I had some questions in my group. I'm going to answer them here for you real quick, okay? So let's have a look. Let's go back to Bitcoin over here and let's go to the daily. Okay, now the daily over here is actually still gold. So the factor line is not telling you to get out over here. The factor line is telling you Bitcoin is still in play. The same thing goes for the weekly, by the way. If you go to the weekly, we're still bullish, okay? Factor line is still gold over here, even though we had this massive dip. It's not telling you to get out just yet. And we are at the bounce position over here. We are at the bounce position over here, so highly likely we're gonna do that. Let's see what happens. On the daily, we're looking at this range as well. Let's see the range real quick, 104. Sorry, that's not the range. We're looking at these levels, 104 to 117. See, we're playing in here. Now, we can sit here and draw ranges all day, but that's not the point, okay? Let's say this would be your range right now if we go in lower. The thing is right now, we need to break up, okay? We need to break 117K. That's this line over here and make it support. We might range a little bit so that altcoins can breathe, then break up, or range a little bit, altcoins start going up, break down, shit goes to shit, okay? The thing is, you need to protect yourself here. So, make sure you have USDT, or at least get your profits into Bitcoin, or at least convert into Bitcoin, a part of your portfolio. I did about 10% of my portfolio into USDT because I already have a lot of Bitcoin, so that I have powder to play, okay? Because if we go down, you can get into powerful plays. So especially if you convert from coins that have not been doing that well, you can get into Solana. You can get into Aster if you see it in strength and so on if we go down and you see that bounce. If not, and we go higher, you can see lagging plays and see by narrative, and we'll be on the channel here live or in videos showing you what I believe those coins are going to be. Now, to answer some of the questions, and this is the post I made on Twitter earlier on today, protect yourself and your portfolio. And we need to see this blow over. Better have some USDT to trade your way up if we go lower. I don't like this rejection. I want Bitcoin to break above $117,000. It rejected around $116,000. This is the tweet I made over here that you need to pay attention to. Now, some of the questions I have in my group, and I'm not going to show you their names for privacy reasons, but some of the questions I have in my group are what follows. And I will edit this part so I don't drive you nuts while I'm trying to read these. By protecting yourself, I mean get out of risky coins and lower your risk. For example, I got out of some of my Bitcoin, Solana, Pengu, etc., and made sure I had enough to buy back the trade once I'm confident. Am I saying that Solana is risky? No, I'm not saying that. I'm just kind of like saying what I'm doing here for context for my group, by the way. I did not completely exit. Also, having USDT for multiple coins makes it easy to buy the right ones when the time comes. So if you get out of a lot of your positions and you have USDT here, even if you bounce, you can actually look at what's bouncing, what the narrative is, and get into that specific coin, and you can always get back into the other coins later if that makes sense. And I am saying that I'll probably buy Bitcoin or Solana, but let's see. Now, I kept my Aster, but remember I exited 50% yesterday. I also exited all my Zcash position this morning. I was in major profits. As you know, we called it pretty low. I can always get back in once certain resistances break, and that's the way you have to think as a trader. If you're a hodler, it's a whole different story, but believe me, you don't want to hodl a lot of coins right now. You just don't. You want to hodl mostly Bitcoin, if anything, maybe Solana, maybe a couple more. Something's going on with Zcash. I'm going to make a video about that, by the way, because conventionally, you should get out. It's topping. It looks like it's topping, but there's something going on. I want to talk about that in another video because it's a bit 50-50 there. But anyway, let's move on. Here somebody's asking me if they have a 6,000 portfolio, would moving 20% of it in USDT be too much? Currently holding AI, Oz, Pengu, Aster, Cookie, Sui, and Virtuals. And I answered, in your case, 20% would be smart, but keep in mind you can also do this in Bitcoin because you can also use Bitcoin to actually buy lower. Now, keep in mind, this is actually in my group. I know his portfolio. That's why I'm suggesting that along with his trading style, if that makes sense. You might be different. It might be different for you. And I do go on to say this is really an individual thing. I took roughly 10% of my altcoins and a little bit of my Bitcoin, my trading Bitcoin into USDT. Crypto Hunter is saying, are we going to zero? I am answering no, we don't go down in straight lines. But we want trading capital to buy if we go bear. If we go up, we can look at power plays or lagging coins. If we go down, we can see what's going on. Either way, there is a chance for alt season to happen here. There is a chance as long as there's a selective alt season. I've talked about selective alt seasons before. I'll link a video in the description down below so you understand, plus the end of this video over here, maybe. But I'll definitely link it down below. The chart basically says, sit on your hands and wait, but if you have no powder, that's not really a good idea. You need to have powder to be able to make this play. So then I go on to say, let's see if 111,000, 112,000 holds and bounces. That's what we're looking at right now, this moment in time. And if we do go down, if we do break that, I don't think we're going to go into a bear straight away. Somebody's asking me if we're going to go into a bear market straight away. We're probably going to get a dead cat bounce anyway. So there'll still be opportunities to trade on the way down, but you have to keep this in mind. So basically what I've been saying is people need to protect their portfolio, whether you're in profits, whether or not. You need to be able to protect your portfolio. A lot of people are in leverage. A lot of people are not protecting their portfolio. A lot of people don't have dry powder, including myself, which is why I made more dry powder in USDT. This is not a video to make you panic. This is not a video to take you out. This is not a video to tell you everything is ending. But I did say we're going to get a top end of 2025. And I do think that after that, we're going to go into a bear market or what will look like a bear market. It might be a shorter-lived bear market, go back up, then everything goes down later on in 2026. So I am expecting this. What I'm expecting right now, here's the two scenarios I'm expecting. Number one, oh, here's two scenarios. I'll tell you which one I'm expecting. Number one, we continue to go down over here. We continue to go down and we go into a bear market. We'll have a dead cat bounce again and then go into a bear market. That's not what I'm expecting. What I'm expecting is the charts will confuse us. They will actually go up, then go down beginning of 2026 into what looks like a bear market. Go back up, everyone thinks, oh my God, extended bull market, and then completely go to shit. That is the scenario I'm looking at. Now, I'm not saying it's going to happen. There's a lot of things that can happen here. And if you're looking for a definite answer right now, I can't give it to you. What I can tell you is three things before I close this video. Number one, I said I'm expecting $130,000 to $140,000 Bitcoin. If we break that, yes, we can go to 150, 160, but I'll be taking profits above 120 to 140,000. Remember that? Okay, that's number one. Number two, I said we're going to have a selective alt season. This was all through 2022, all through 2023, 2024, by the way. I was saying this about Bitcoin. I was saying this about altcoins. We're going to have a selective altcoin season, a selective altcoin season. And it's now or never, by the way, but a selective alt season, meaning only certain alt seasons will run. Not everything's going to run. That's what we're seeing, by the way, so far. We called every mini alt season as well. And this is what we're seeing so far. And I am expecting alt season to happen soon. It's going to be now or never. If we're going to get alt season, it's going to be now. The markets are going to trick us. We're going to get a mini alt season or a full-blown alt season, selective, of course. And it's going to happen now. But the next couple of months, if that. And we are going to be topping out, in my opinion. Could I be wrong? Sure, but that's why I'm giving you all the options here. I'm not trying to tell you, I'm not trying to make a prediction here. I'm trying to tell you that you need to protect your portfolio so we can adjust, so we can improvise, adapt, and overcome no matter which scenario happens, okay? That's the video I want to put out here. Later on, I'm going to study more. Maybe I go live and I can actually get into more details. But I'm just telling you right now what's going on this morning. Just woke up a while ago, just had coffee, and I just wanted to put this video out for you so you know what I'm thinking and what I am doing. So protect yourself, protect your portfolio. Make sure you watch this video right here next. Actually, this coin is doing quite well. This coin's doing quite well. And if we do get a continuation, maybe it does. Maybe it continues doing well. But of course, it's your own risk. Make sure you check it out, and I'll see you in the next video.